Hi, so in today's video I'm going to be talking about things that you shouldn't really say to people that are genderqueer or trans or gender fluid, anything that falls under that umbrella. So I'm just going to jump straight in with it with the biggest question you should never ask, which is, have you had the operation? Have you had the surgery? Are you pre or post-op? Are you going to go all the way? What's exactly going on down there? You still have a penis, so you have a vagina. Any variation on this question, even if it's not posed as a question, is really invasive and really insulting, and you just shouldn't ask it, because I'm not going to walk up to you and go, hey, what's going on down there, yeah? Like, what's happening in your crotch biz? You don't ask anyone that, but for some reason people seem to think because trans people are different that it's completely fine to ask them all the question because they're a second-class citizen, and you know, that needs to change. So just don't ask that question. It's not your biz, and it's same as it's not my biz to know what's in your pants, because unless I'm dating you, I don't want to know what's going on down there. Number 2 is never ask how a trans person has sex. Like, it may be really interesting to find out how people go about it. Everyone, trans, gay, lesbian, bi, straight, everyone has sex differently with their partners. Like, you can be imaginative and creative, or you can just be plain and boring. Like, it's not any different to a normal relationship. I am not special. I don't like have some form of machinery. It's just normal. And again, it's not your business how I go about having intimate relations with my partner, unless we're like having an open discussion about sex, which don't try and get into with me. Number 3 is never ask how partners, friends or family have reacted. I mean, what do you want to hear from us? That we've been rejected by a friend's family, had failed relationships due to it, people not understanding? We're not your soap opera. Like, my life story is not here to entertain you by regaling you with the pain and anguish that I've suffered to get to this point having this conversation with you. And also, like, I've had nothing but positivity like reacted to me, but if someone's had like some really negative experience with friends, family, partners, whatever, you're just going to reinforce or remind them of that really bad time. Just don't ask. Just you know. On the other hand, if someone wants to tell you their story, that's completely fine, because that's them engaging with you and trusting you that they feel comfortable with you knowing about how other people have reacted. If someone initiates that conversation, then that's completely fine. But you should never be the instigator of this interrogation. Shoulders. Lots of too much shoulders. Number 4 is asking them how they go to the toilet. Like, do you still stand up? Do you sit down? Like, what do you do when you go toilet? Like, all these, like, silly little questions just to fill your curiosity. Again, I'm not your puzzle to try and solve and work out and go, oh well, they do this, because I don't ask you how you go toilet. Do you wipe your bum by standing up, or do you do that weird like thing? Like, no, I don't ask you to describe intimate details of your toilet time, and why should I impart my wisdom of how I do my biz to you? Added on to toilet time is, do you use the girls? Do you use the boys? Like, which toilets do you use? On the other hand to this, it's completely okay to let a genderqueer person know that it's okay to use whichever toilet they want. This is obviously really useful in a working environment, because it lets the genderqueer person know that there's no issues in them using the toilet of their choice. Number 5 is giving transgender people tips on how to pass, because it's not your place to comment on how they look or what they could do to be better. I'm sure they could give you a long list of certain things that they don't like about themselves, certain things that they would like to be able to improve. For people who aren't comfortable in their bodies, you're basically reinforcing and telling them that they aren't good enough to be the gender that they are. Some trans people have lived complete lives as the wrong gender, and so they're having to unlearn all the traits that they learned to like either hide or cope with to, you know, just get through daily life, and then also relearn new skills and techniques and actions and mannerisms. And you pointing out that they haven't got like stereotypical traits down, it's just going to reinforce again that there's something wrong with them, and that you think they're not perfect to be representing the gender that they actually are. And even if you think imparting your advice is with good intentions, who are you to tell anyone how a certain gender acts? Like, who made you the chieftain. For some people it isn't about passing, and your comment is unnecessary, unwelcome and not needed. Like, they're probably really happy and secure in the person that they are and don't need you like telling them, oh, you need to be doing this better. And I know this happens a lot in media, where it's like constant slogans and ads and things saying, oh, if you're not this type of person then you're not perfect or deemed to be beautiful. It happens everywhere. So don't just reinforce what society's already doing to us already. The flip side to this is telling a trans person that they pass and saying things like, oh, I wouldn't have known, like, you pass really well. I know another trans woman and you look more like a natural woman than them. You look like a real woman. Like, one, that's really insulting to whoever you know. Like, never compare us, because you can't compare anyone to anyone. That's just ridiculous and really insulting. Two, like, I make me feel like a natural woman because I am essentially a natural woman. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I feel like a woman and I make myself feel like a natural woman. You don't need to reinforce or tell me like, oh, you look really good for a bloke in a dress. Like, I'm not a bloke in a dress, I'm a person in a dress, so fuck off with your bullshit. And it just reinforces the idea that trans people are split into two groups, either passing or not passing, and like, the ones that pass are like, oh, you're amazing, like, go about your business because, you know, society doesn't notice you because you pass, compared to the other people who don't pass, and then they should be sort of like, oh, that's a person that's living as the opposite gender, we need to tell them that you're the person living in an opposite gender. Like, it doesn't matter, we're all exactly the same, regardless of the gender that we were assigned at birth and the gender that we actually are. It's insulting to not only me, but also my community, and I will ride on my high horse if you try and compare me to someone else. Number 6, so are you ever concerned about people wanting to hurt you, attacking you for you just being you know, doing your own thing? But, you know, some people have different opinions out there and may not, like, react nicely to it. What the fuck? Like, anyone wanting to come and attack me doesn't know anything about me. I could be carrying a knife, I could like be martial arts, I could be fucking Bruce Lee in a dress. Like, they don't know what I can bring if they come and attack me. And I'm from Saffron Lane. Like, what can they do? Like, I'll fucking kill them. On the flip side to my ballsiness, it is well known within the trans community and the wider world that trans people are more at risk of being physically attacked or murdered. But you don't need to reinforce that fear. Like, we all know the deal. And it's the same as women. Like, they know the deal that they're told from a young age, don't dress a certain way because you might get raped, because, you know, we're not going to control the men. It's like your problem for dressing how you want to dress. Like, it's all your fault for dressing in a slutty fashion. So, you know, that's just the way society is. You don't need that constantly reinforcing to us that we're at risk. We know we're at risk. So, you know, don't do it. And maybe, if you know someone that's willing to attack a trans person for just being them, maybe you need to focus your attention on them and re-educating them and informing them or getting them to calm the fuck down, because, you know, the problem isn't me doing what I want to do. I'm not causing anyone harm. If anything, they're the people that want to cause me and people like me physical harm, and they're the people that should be taught and told no. Number 7. What does it feel like to be a woman trapped in a man's body, or vice versa? Like, I don't feel trapped in anybody. This is my fucking body and I'm owning it. It doesn't matter like what I was born, like what gender I was assigned with at birth. Like, I am me and I'm not trapped anywhere. If anything, I'm trapped in this shit conversation with you. I'm in control of these limbs and they may hit you. On the flip side to this, some people do genuinely feel like they're trapped by their body, and it's just not trans people either. Anyone can feel trapped or restricted by their body being a certain thing, like, and it's just not a nice question to raise. And after all, it's none of your damn business to know how that person feels. Like, they're feeling it. You don't need to know. Like, why do you need to know their feelings on really horrible topics? Like, just to get your boots, or like, did you miss last night's EastEnders? Like, what's with that? Like, there's iPlayer. Like, you can watch it on a smartphone. If you want your depressing drama, just do that. At what point, if you are trying to inform a trans person about what happens in surgeries, do you think that they haven't researched it to like the tiniest detail and know everything about it? It's not like people just like blindly go through life and go, you know what, I want to have this really invasive surgery that's like gonna change my genitalia to something completely different, and not actually research it and know about it. Like, I personally read up, watched every documentary, watched YouTube stuff, and even saw very visual imagery about how that goes down. After all surgeries are gross, no matter what's happening in the surgery. Like, you get to see someone's innards, and that is truly horrific. Like, I don't want to be reminded of that. And if you like that sort of stuff, just go and watch Human Centipedes. Like, if that is... And don't tell me what happens in it, please, because it hurts my head. So that's it for me and my soapbox for this week. I hope that this has been informative and helpful for anyone, and yeah, and also drawing a line for the questions that you shouldn't ask, because, you know, I think if you're not sure about asking a trans person a particular question, just have a second, think about it. Would you actually ask anyone else this question other than a trans person? Because most of the time, it's gonna be no. There's probably even more and some far worse or not as worse questions that have been asked to trans people generally, and I may not cover them here, and I'm sorry if I've done anyone an injustice, but feel free to leave them in the comments below, because, you know, it's a good way to inform people. That's if they like to read. Like, I don't like to read, but I do read all your comments. As always, feel free to comment, subscribe, message me, and I want to know about your experiences, and I hope this video was good enough. I'll see you next time. Bye.